standalone structures depending on what we want to achieve as the objective and what is the view on the market. A structure is not a standalone structure, right? Structure has no value unless you marry it with what you want and what is the view that you have carried. So we'll work through the various structures in that order, in that particular framework, right? So for now, I'll just write like this: spot 84.70 today, and forward premium, right? Is how much? Forward rate. Let's take forward rate. The forward rate for, just 1 second, let me just get cost first. Yeah, the forward rate is 83 paisa, right? 83 paisa. So I'll write it like this: 0.83, 0.83 paisa or 8350 is the correct forward premium, right? Now, what is the forward rate? Forward rate is 8470 plus 83 half, so 85.5350. This is tenor 6 months. Okay. Now, what is the first step that we need to understand? Right? What is the view? Rather, what is going to happen if dollar rupee were to end up at different levels consistent with my view, right? That was I want to focus on. So I need to understand what is my best case, what is my worst case if I do a particular option or an option structure, right? That's the whole idea. So let us have that framework set up. So what is the framework? I'll create various dollar rupee option scenarios of the future. For example, 80, because you're buying, the potential risk is towards higher import, right? Potential risk is towards on the upper side. So I'll have a buy rate of 81, 80, let's say 82, 83, 84.70 spot. So 84.70. And then I'll have 85, 86, let's say up to 87, let's assume. And then I'll also have a very bad case like 90, dollar rupee going to 90. These are all my risk scenarios, right? From here onwards, these are all risk scenarios, right? These are all the dollar rupee scenarios at maturity. These are all USD INR scenarios. Now, on the other hand, let me just write here, what is the strategy? Option strategy, right? What is the, right here, what is the description of the strategy? What is the cost of the strategy? Right? The cost of the strategy, right? Ultimately, every strategy will have a cost. Could have. So the cost of the strategy, right? All of this I need to now evaluate. Now, before I do that, let us have the two extremes in terms of hedging. One extreme is no hedging, right? Not at all hedging, right? That's also a choice we need to evaluate as an importer, right? Obviously, the description is self-explanatory. What is the cost of the strategy? Zero, because not hedging will not entail any cost. Upfront cost. I'm talking about upfront cost. But then each of the strategy, how will you evaluate, right? The evaluation has to happen through what is the rate I'm going to get at maturity as the primary variable. The primary variable I'm trying to optimize is the effective rate, buying rate for me at maturity, right? So today, let's assume whatever is the spot today. Let's say you have a fresh import exposure you got. 6 months down the line, you have to pay some X amount of dollars. So you have to buy those many dollars. Now, if you don't do anything, your hedging rate will be whatever is the maturity rate on that day, whatever is the dollar rupee rate, that will be your rate, right? So the effective buying rate in a no hedge scenario will be same as the whatever is the market rate on that day, which is this. Now, full hedge means completely hedging myself without any variability in my cash flow. I want to lock in. So what is a full hedge? The full hedge is a forward, complete lock-in. And what is the cost of it? Again, zero, because forward has no cost. Forward has no cost because upfrontly there is no cost. But the rate at which you buy is locked in at the forward rate. That you can't change. That is fixed. The forward rate is fixed for you, which means irrespective of where the dollar rupee ends up at maturity, you have a locked-in rate, which is the forward rate. Right? These are the two extremes: full hedge, no hedge, and full hedge. Right? So now let us evaluate various the use of options now in hedging this import payment. First of all, when will you do a forward? See, you understand this from that intuitive perspective. When will you do a forward? See, first of all, forward is a locked-in rate. Yes, you are very risk-averse. You don't want any variation, any view you don't want to take. Yes, then you can do it. But more than this aspect, the very reason you are doing a forward, even if you are allowed or even if you can do options or any other, or even keeping the hedge open, is that you expect rupee to depreciate to some extent. And therefore, a forward can be thought of as actually simply buying at 84.70 spot. But to be able to buy at 84.70, the market is asking you a cost of 83 extra premium. So a forward contract can be looked at as buying at current spot plus a payment of 83 paisa premium on the day of the buying extra. So a forward contract inbuilt has this view that rupee is going to depreciate. Otherwise, you are going to lose out by doing a forward, your opportunity loss, right? And the depreciation, you have a expected cost, you are willing to pay 83 paisa cost for it, for the depreciation potential. So unless you view that there's a very strong chance of rupee depreciation, the forward will be a losing proposition unless the rupee depreciates more than 83%, right? Therefore, a forward is inherently a risk-averse instrument which has a high cost. And the rupee needs a strong depreciation. In the past 12 months, if you see rupee, it has hardly moved from 83.50 to 84.70. Now imagine somebody who did a forward for 1 year when it was at 83.50. The 1 year forward premium was 2 rupees, right? So 1 rupee 80 paisa. So rupee has depreciated only by 1 rupee 20 paisa, for example, right? And that too in the recent few days. Earlier, rupee was stuck at 84.40 for a long time, right? And before that, 84 for a long time. So people who did forward struggled, rather with losing opportunities, basically, right? So what is therefore the first point I want to make is that option hedging primarily is comes into picture when you want to optimize this cost that 83 paisa you are paying compared to current spot, and you when you have a potential